Hey, it's Dr. Karen Ken. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. This week's video is all around the topic of you create your reality, or do you really? Are there some misconceptions and misunderstandings related to this spiritual teaching of you create your reality? Now, before we dive in, would love for you to click subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. And then if you're on YouTube, click the notification bell so you get notified every time there is a new video and you don't miss a single one. And hopefully you like this video, and at the end of the video, click like and feel free to share with those that you think might benefit. So this topic, you create your reality. So when I watched the movie The Secret in 2006, I was totally in love with this movie and the thought and the teaching that, wow, my thoughts and emotions create my reality. How empowering is that? So I went to several conferences and they basically reaffirmed and reinforced that idea that I create my own reality. So I did my very best to think positive thoughts, to think positive emotions, to the effect that if I had a negative emotion, I was quickly trying to get rid of it. Have you been there? Where you're like, okay, I can't think negative thoughts and I can't think negative emotions. And here I was trying to control these thoughts and emotions coming from my field of consciousness, right? And that got me into some, let's say, episodes of guilt and maybe shame and feeling not good enough, because somehow things were still happening in my life that I did not want to happen. So therefore, if they were happening in my life, that means I must have created them, right? Well, yes and no. So this video is here to clarify some of those misconceptions. I do know of several law of attraction coaches who are still preaching that because we create our reality, we do have to be very, very careful about our thoughts. And that is not untrue. However, when things happen in their lives that they do not necessarily desire or want, they turn the tables on themselves and go, oh, what must have I been thinking? Oh, I have to work on myself. Oh, there's still stuff in there. And that's why I manifest this reality, right? So, is that really true? Well, here's the thing. We create our reality in terms of how we perceive what is outside of us, because we have judgments about what is happening outside of us. So in other words, okay, if I create my reality, that means I am single-handedly responsible for the Ukraine-Russia war. Now you're probably laughing and you're like, yeah, right, Dr. Karen. How can you, little old you, be responsible for that? Well, I am partially responsible for that. And guess what? So are you. And you're like, whoa, 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 wait a second. I don't want war. I don't want war. Like, how can I be partially responsible for that? No. I'm responsible for what's going on in my life, but nobody else's life. Well, you know what? That actually isn't true. I now understand, this is my current understanding, and it really serves me. So if this resonates with you, go ahead and use it. If it doesn't, just throw it out, okay? So my current understanding is that our thoughts, emotions, and internal conditioning, whether they be, helpful or not, create our experience and what we perceive to be our experience in our outer world. So one person's experience of the exact same thing happening to them can be completely different. So it's our perception of what's happening in the outer world that creates our reality. Now, do we actually co-create what's going on in the world together as a collective? And the answer is yes, we do. So in other words, yeah, you and I are partially responsible for the Ukraine-Russia war. Not directly, not because we did anything to cause it per se in this lifetime. However, our consciousness is one of billions of other consciousnesses on the planet. And the average vibration of those consciousnesses, whether that is high vibrational, closer to source, or low vibrational, away from source, right, or creator, or the unity consciousness, that determines what we see in the outside world in the big picture. So even though you may not be individually responsible for a little baby dying of cancer, okay, our collective consciousness is. And who's to even say that is bad? It's not what's desired, of course, but bad is relative. In fact, the good, evil, bad, good, that whole polarity consciousness is something that we're growing out of and evolving out of into unity consciousness. So the minute we judge something as bad or good, okay, we start to do that separation. And it's sort of likened to, I'll give you an example. So say you, for whatever reason, have an infection in your big toe. Now, if you catch it early, right, you can treat the toe and it gets better, it heals on its own. Fantastic. Now, what if you had diabetes and you maybe didn't control your blood sugars? Maybe you didn't have the right diet or, healthcare or self-care practices. And maybe that diabetes got out of control and you were highly susceptible to getting a big toe infection. And then by the time you have a big toe infection and you don't catch it early, even if you do treat it with antibiotics, guess what? It may or may not survive, and then you have to amputate the toe. So what does one do? Well, if the toe is not savable and it's going to infect the whole body, absolutely you do need to amputate the toe. However, why not catch the infection early, and why not treat the underlying issues, in this case, whatever's causing and contributing to the diabetes, whether it be physical issues or mental or emotional issues. And you're like, well, wait, what about genetics? Guess what? Genetics plays a very small part in chronic disease, less than 10%. So the rest is our environment. That's epigenetics. Thank you, Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, okay, teaching us about epigenetics. So, okay, so how does that, what does that have to do with the rest of consciousness and all of reality? Well, if we look at the darker elements of our lives and we go, well, we're not that evil. We're not that person. That's an enemy. The powers that be, they're evil people, right? That is like your big toe infected. Yes, you can try to cut it off. Okay, but if there's an underlying infection and if there's an underlying imbalance causing that susceptibility to infection, you're not actually treating the whole organism, are you? When you just try to get rid of that. That's that polarity, that good and evil and everything like that, bad and good and all that kind of stuff. So what is the cure, the real cure? It's holistic. So the real cure is going, okay, why is this happening in the first place? Why is it that we see these dark elements? Why is it that we see all these lies and, bad people doing bad things? If we take personal responsibility for our own perception of reality and yes, work on that without the guilt, without the shame, okay? Without the I'm not good enough, okay? We don't need any of that. And realize that our consciousness is one of those billions of blips of consciousness that co-create our current reality that we share together, then we go, yeah, I am responsible and I can do something about it. And each individual person doing that for themselves is really like healing the organism, the whole organism of all humanity all at once, all together. So in the analogy of that infected toe, that is, a person with diabetes getting control of their diabetes, the original reason why they're highly susceptible to having this infected toe in the first place. Yeah, they may not be able to change their genetics per se, but guess what? According to genetics, I should have type 2 diabetes, but I don't and never will. According to genetics, I should have high blood pressure and heart disease and stroke, but I don't. Why? Because I've made choices in my lifestyle, my thoughts, my emotions, right? That shift that susceptibility. And yeah, if I didn't take care of myself, I would more than likely have everything genetically that, my parent and grandparents may have had, and my grandaunts and so on and so forth. So when we shift our own consciousness, we encourage and help everyone else with our positive morphic field to also potentially shift their consciousness as well. And therefore, we do not have to see in the outside world the manifestation of our collective consciousness being lower vibration. So when we see so-called evil people out there doing evil things, guess what? We're partly to blame, but I'm not saying to blame yourself. It's just about being aware, going, oh, wow, I still see this. And that means that's what's happened in the past that's manifested what is now in the current reality. Let me start today by shifting and changing and optimizing my own consciousness to a higher vibration, one of peace, one of consciousness unity. Because at the end of the day, consciousness made visible is really that our consciousnesses, if that's a word, collectively manifest into 3D as the visible. And we have a positive, sometimes, or negative effect on that. So it's not about blaming, nothing like that. We can go from that individuated polarity consciousness to realizing, hey, we're part of a bigger picture. We're part of a bigger organism. And just like the person with the diabetes, if they take control of their diet, they take control of their mental thoughts and beliefs, if they take control of how they respond to life instead of just reacting to life, if they take charge of clearing their negative emotions, their negative subconscious patterns, that is creating more and more and more light and bringing them back to who they really are. And guess what? They don't have to suffer from an infection ever again. At least not the ones that, are caused by diabetes and require amputation, all that kind of stuff. So it's not too late. It's not too late. Some people are like, well, the toe's infected, it's got to go. Maybe, maybe not. The interesting thing is that when you can heal the underlying organism, that's all of us, all of humanity, and it starts with each of us. It's just like every single cell in your body. As each cell gets healthier and healthier and healthier, the cells beside it, the cells that connect to it, the cells that communicate to it, also get healthier. There's an energetic field that expands and extends out beyond each cell and beyond each person to touch the lives and other cells around them. So we do have a very positive effect on other people if we choose to work on ourselves. And I mean, by work, I don't mean being hard on yourself, trying to tell yourself you're not good enough. No, 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 no. It's actually healing those things that is working on yourself, to love yourself more, to take personal self-responsibility without feeling like you're a bad person or that you're not good enough or that you're not perfect enough, and really honoring your journey. So this week's special Topican healing activation is all around being able to fully embrace personal self-responsibility so you can own yourself, self-love, and honoring your journey no matter what it is. Not comparing yourself with others, but honoring your journey and what it is. We're also going to do some healing around whatever it is that's creating or perpetuating the polarity consciousness and preventing you from tuning in, tapping in, and accessing unity consciousness more of the time. Let's go ahead and heal that. So if you're new to the Topican healing activations, all you need to do is start feeling the energy in your body. The easiest way is stillness through observing internal movement. At least that's the way I find easy for me. You can rub your hands, get them nice and hot, or move your body. You can shake, or just, shimmy wherever you want to do. And just close your eyes if it's safe for you to do that. Feel the energy and movement in the body. Focus on it, feel it, and follow the flow wherever it goes without judgment. I'm going to go ahead and say the Topican healing activations, and your job is just to notice if you feel any movement or shifts in that energy in your body. You may or may not. Either way is fine. If you wish to receive the healing activation, you just make an internal intention to say, yes, I wish to receive. Here we go. I now command that the positive morphic fields, the most evolved versions of self-responsibility, self-reliance, and self-love be downloaded and activated in you in the highest and best way all directions of time and all timelines where you exist. It's now commanded that whatever is creating or perpetuating polarity consciousness, whatever no longer serves us, be healed and resolved with ease, speed, and grace. And whatever can be downloaded and activated to support unity consciousness be downloaded and activated now in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where you exist. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so just feel what's going on in the body as these positive morphic fields and healing energies settle in, and you can open your eyes if you would like to. And I would love to hear from you. So if you would comment below this video and let me know what you felt during this activation, and if any of what we shared earlier was helpful to you, or you know, did that make a shift in your thoughts about you create your reality? Maybe letting go some guilt, maybe a more thorough or more in-depth understanding of how we co-create our realities together, and also our personal perception of reality that we are personally responsible for. So I have some announcements for this week on Light Warrior Radio. On Monday, I have the great pleasure to welcome my guest, Boonmi McElroy, and she is actually from Thailand. Now, what's really interesting about her, she grew up in a really small village with no access to higher education, and she was on her own surviving at the age of 12. So she was orphaned at the age of 12. And now she's become an international speaker and life coach. And her more recent book, it's a memoir called I Hate Potatoes, They Make Me Cry, is a beautiful story of her transformation. So she's going to share with us on Monday's radio show how to transform ourselves and our circumstances, how to go from victim to victorious, if you will, maybe some tools that we can help transform our lives, discovering your purpose, how she did it. So it's a very inspirational journey, and I hope you join us live on the show Monday at 12 noon Eastern. I will post the link below, and you can actually click the link at 12 noon Eastern. You can even call in and speak with my guest live on Monday, so I hope to see you there. Some other announcements, some cool stuff, new stuff. First thing is last weekend's video of the Healthy Habits, Healthy Life series was all about smiling, and both the evidence about how helpful smiling can be, both emotionally and even physically, and how to kind of encourage yourself to smile more and how to remember it, and even a little tip and hack on how to do it in a way that actually does a little facelift for you. Yes. And the second thing I wanted to announce, which I'm super excited, is that our light medicine community is formally open for new members. So our light medicine community is free for people to enter. And if you're a Facebook group member, Light Warrior Network, if you're a MeWe member or a Telegram member, would love for you to join us in this community. We have been testing it out with several of our level 1, level 2 students, our self-healing programs, and now we're pretty much ready to onboard everyone. So if you were part of my light medicine community on my website previously, we are now linking that to this brand new place. So I will put the link below where you can sign up, and it is free, so you can enter for free. And I would love to connect with you there, because what's really neat with this new app, which is on Circle, is that I can do live streams. Yes, right in the community, which I've been looking for quite some time, since Facebook doesn't always like my live streams. So yeah, so make sure you click that link. It's KarenCan.com/LMC free, all one word. So LMC stands for Light Medicine Community. So KarenCan.com/LMC free, and I will see you on the other side. And remember, when you get there, to go to the welcome and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what your goals are, what your dreams are. And if you know your soul type, tell us that too. Are you an earth angel, an indigo, a starseed, a light being starseed? We'd love to know that as well. And then you can join in the conversation. And everything will be in that place. Our calendars, our inspirational tips and our videos, recordings of the Spiritual Medicine Digest will be there as well as the Healthy Habits, Healthy Life video series, so on. And we're very excited to open this up to the greater community. So definitely join us there, and I'm the most active there. And some of these other communities we may be closing up or at least limiting the amount of activity there. So definitely join us in the new light medicine community as soon as you can. All right, so I think that's it for this week. I thank you so much for joining me here on the Spiritual Medicine Digest. Again, remember to post a comment below if you did the activation and you felt it in your body. Let me know what your thoughts are on our topic for this week. And again, remember to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification button on YouTube so you know every time there is a new video, it'll be sent to your email box. And then click like and feel free to share this video. All right, take care and lots of love until next week. Bye.